He was an artist. Such things as happen to him happen sometimes to artists. He was a German. Such things as happen to him happen sometimes to Germans. He was young, handsome, studious, enthusiastic, metaphysical, reckless, unbelieving, heartless. And being young, handsome, and eloquent, he was beloved. He was an orphan under the guardianship of his dead father's brother, his Uncle Wilhelm, in whose house he had been brought up from a little child, and she who loved him was his cousin Gertrude, whom he swore he loved in return. Did he love her? Yes, when he first swore it. It soon wore out, this passionate love, hath threadbare and wretched a sentiment, and became at last in the selfish heart of the student. But in its golden dawn, when he was only 19 and had just returned from his apprenticeship to a great painter at Antwerp, and they wandered together in the most romantic outskirts of the city at rosy sunset, by holy moonlight or bright and joyous morning, how beautiful a dream. They keep it a secret from Wilhelm, as he has the father's ambition of a wealthy suitor for his only child, a cold and dreary vision beside the lover's dream. And so they are betrothed, and standing side by side when the dying sun and the pale moon divide the heavens, he puts the betrothal ring upon her finger, the white and taper finger whose slender shape he knows so well. The ring is a peculiar one, a massive golden serpent, its tail in its mouth, the symbol of eternity. It had been his mother's, and he would know it amongst 1,000. If he were to become blind tomorrow, he would select it from amongst 1,000 by the touch alone. He places it on her finger, and they swear to be true to each other forever and ever. Through trouble and danger, sorrow and change, and wealth or poverty, her father must needs be one to consent to their union by and by, for they were now betrothed, and death alone could part them. But the young student, the scoffer at revelation, yet the enthusiastic adorer of the mystical, asks, "Can death part us? I would return to you from the grave, Gertrude. My soul would come back to be near my love, and you, if you died before me, the cold earth could not hold you from me. If you loved me, you would return, and again these fair arms would be clasped around my neck as they are now." But she told him, with a holier light in her deep blue eyes than had ever shone in his. She told him that the dead who die at peace with God are only happy in heaven, and cannot return to the troubled earth, and that it is only the suicide, the lost wretch on whom sorrowful angels shut the door of paradise, whose unholy spirit haunts the footsteps of the living. The first year of their betrothal is past, and she is alone, for he has gone to Italy on a commission for some rich man to copy Raphael's, Titian's, Guido's in a gallery in Florence. He has gone to win fame, perhaps, but it is not the less bitter. He is gone. Of course her father misses his young nephew, who had been as a son to him, and he thinks his daughter's sadness no more than a cousin should feel for a cousin's absence. In the meantime, the weeks and months pass. The lover writes, often at first, then seldom, at last not at all. How many excuses she invents for him, how many times she goes to the distant little post office to which he is to address his letters, how many times she hopes only to be disappointed, how many times she despairs only to hope again. But real despair comes at last and will not be put off any more. The rich suitor appears on the scene, and her father is determined. She is to marry at once. The wedding day is fixed, the 15th of June. The date seems to burn into her brain. The date, written in fire, dances forever before her eyes. The date, shrieked by the Furies, sounds continuously in her ears. There is time yet. It is the middle of May. There is time for a letter to reach mid-Florence. There is time for him to come back to Brunswick to take her away and marry her in spite of her father, in spite of the whole world. But the days and the weeks fly by, and he does not write. He does not come. This is indeed despair which disturbs her heart and will not be put away. It is the 14th of June. For the last time, she goes to the little post office. For the last time, she asks the old question, and they give her the last time the dreary answer. No. No letter. The last time, for tomorrow is the day appointed for the bridal. Her father will hear no entreaties. Her rich suitor will not listen to her prayers. They will not be put off a day, an hour. Tonight alone is hers. This night, which she may employ as she will. She takes another path than that which leads home. She hurries through some by-streets of the city, out onto a lonely bridge, where he and she had so often stood in the sunset, watching the rose-colored light glow, fade, and die upon the river.